Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to episode 17 of Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. I am Garrett Weinzerl. I am joined, as always, by Kyle Ferguson. Kyle, how are you doing, you Abathuran son of a bee?
Again, this whole week was Kerrigan. It's because I've been playing with Ben too much. We've worked out the system where Rhaegar, apparently with his shield, gives auto-attack damage. And with Kerrigan, every single level, there's an auto-attack talent. So you just stab with those wings for absurd damage.
It's ridiculous. I've been in a couple of games with you guys, and it's absurd. Unfortunately, I was playing a shit ton of Hammer this week, but Ben just ignored me because you were Kerrigan, so I died a lot.
Yeah, well, healing Hammer isn't exactly, there's not exactly the health pool there to heal, and...
Oh, just smacked my microphone. That's how angry I am about not being healed as Sergeant Hammer.
Well, we tried really hard, though, with Diablo to get some sort of combo down, but, at this level, until there is the MMR that we really need, not the one we deserve, we're going to be stuck in this weird world where if you have the skills and you're familiar with a MOBA-style game, you should just play an assassin because you're going to contribute the most to your team.
That's a good point.
Unless it's Hammer, just Hammer damage all day should be assassin in the first place.
Hammer's pretty much, yeah, I was about to say, she's pretty much an assassin with a couple tricks up her sleeve. That's about it. The damage output's, I've been playing so much Hammer this week, man. After our anti-Hammer segment last week, I was just like, I just got an itch to just, I felt like it was like StarCraft, and I was just microwaving one unit. Like, it's having a blast.
The thing is, the tanks float, so it's not anything like StarCraft. Yeah. You basically play StarCraft for maybe the first, 4 levels?
Come level 7, I believe, is when you get hover
good.
Mode. Yeah.
Maybe that should be a little later.
Maybe.
There's a glitch in the game right now where if you activate your siege while your sort of tread is sitting over the edge of Blackheart's Bay water, you can start to float over the water.
I did not know this.
Well, of course, you don't spread it around. I think they're fixing it, and it should be fixed at this point. I hope I'm not giving away some awful secret to make Blackheart's Bay.
I was say I didn't hear about this at all, dude. But there's that's cool. That's gotta love the game-breaking bugs.
Yeah, well, it's alpha. What can you do?
Yeah,
I'm just I continue to want to play Diablo, but that bug fix, and I'm doing big old air quotes, just hurt so bad. Returning the flame waves now only hits once instead of the massive number of hits before. And, well, I've abandoned him for Kerrigan.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with that. Although you're a really strong Diablo player. I like it when you play Diablo, so I don't know how I feel about that. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that combo, because what I want to do, pick up dudes, slam them into your hammer. They have to walk all the way through that absurd range. And good times are had on our side of the team.
Indeed they are. So anyways, before we get into the news this week, got a couple of announcements. Well, one announcement and one contest. Firstly, the announcement, we have a Patreon now for Into the Nexus for this show, which you can go see by going to patreon.com/ITN. So if you're really enjoying our show and you want to help support us, that's how you can do it. It's an opt-in subscription to help out the show. With the launch of our Patreon, we're going to be sticking around after the show once a month to do a Heroes game, and we're going to be filling out our team with patrons, and we're going to live stream that match. We're going to record it, and we're going to throw the VOD up on the Patreon first, so our patrons will be able to see the VOD if they couldn't make it and possibly get on the team and play with us. And yeah, so we got a couple levels. $1 or more get you posted on the thank you page over on amove.tv. As well as your battle tag added to the list of people we'll be bringing into our games after our after show game, and $5 or more gets you access to future patron only giveaways, and we've got some goals in there. For example, at $250 a month, we're going to drop the top of the show ads. They'll be gone. Won't worry about it. At $500 a month, we'll stick around after every show to do a Heroes game that we'll record and bring in some patrons to play with. So there's more stuff over at patreon.com/ITN. So go check it out. And thank you if you're even considering supporting us. And to those 6 people who already are backing us before we even announce it on the show, thank you very much. That's awesome.
You're awesome. You're the early adapters. You're the guys who stand in line for the iPhones.
Yes, the adapters. You are the early adapters.
And we love you for it. Thank you so much. Of course, the show is always free. This main show is not changing. The content is not going to get all wonky because there's dollars involved. This show, still high-quality entertainment.
Yes. Thanks to the early adopters again. Appreciate it. And also, we're giving away a Zeratul figure from San Diego Comic-Con. This was donated to us, and of course, I didn't put his name in here, but it's right here on to Jake. Listener Jake went to San Diego Comic-Con, waited in what I assume is an absurd line at the Blizzard booth, and got this San Diego this exclusive Zeratul figure, and donated it to the show. So all you have to do to enter for a chance to win it is tweet at us. The Twitter account is @ITNcast. With the hashtag GetDetection, that's GetDetection,
Wow.
Detection.
Nice job.
Helps when I have it written down in front of me. So just use that hashtag, tweet at us, and we're going to select one winner by next week's show. So
This thing is adorable. It is already pre-cloaked, so it's see-through. It's got the eyes glowing. I kind of wish they would have added the feature if, like, you dunked it in water for 30 minutes, like warm water. It changed uncloaked.
I had a Joker figure that his face turned skin color as opposed to white when I was a kid. If you dunked
It was a
in
Jack
cold
Nicholson?
water. It was Jack Nicholson.
Action figure.
It was-
Oh, how creepy.
It was Jack Nicholson Joker. It was delightful.
That's okay. I had a Michael Keaton action figure where, for the movies, they always put out like those special ones where you could remove the cowl.
I had that
Otherwise,
one.
it was just like some interpretation of thick-jawed Bruce Wayne that no one cared about.
I had that exact same toy of Michael Keaton. And when you took the cowl off, he was wearing like a black turtleneck.
Yep.
Yeah, really awkward looking action figure. Wonderful.
But then I also had like Scuba Batman, and there's always all those weird ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome. Good luck to everyone who's entering that contest, and thanks to everyone who becomes a patron this week. Onward and upwards into this week's news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Can Stitches play now? Point me to the stage.
All right, right at the top, definitely the biggest story this week. And it's not even because you and I are biased, Kyle, and are really excited about this. I think it's just the biggest thing to talk about is that Blizzard has confirmed that there will be a draft mode in Heroes of the Storm come launch. Well, we're hoping launch. They kind of also said, don't expect it anytime soon in the alpha, but it's definitely coming in. That's what ranked play is going to be, more or less. Gamescom's been going on for it's over now, but it was, all last week was Gamescom. And Heroes senior game producer, and I'm going to butcher his name, and I apologize, Kao Milker. We'll just call him Mr. Milker. He
I'm sure he loves that.
yeah, he was interviewed at Gamescom, and you can see the entire interview up on gamona.de. It's a German site, but it is translated into English. For those of you who don't speak German, much like myself. As a matter of fact, Kyle, Ben sent me this link early this week. That was the first place I saw it, and it's double posted. The top half is all in German, and the bottom half's all in English. I was just staring at it like. And Ben is from Switzerland, and I was just like, "Is this? Do you expect me to read this?" I wasn't even sure what language it was. He's like, "Dude, just scroll down. It's in English." I'm like, "Oh,
this is
gotcha.
not helping anyone, Ben.
Exactly.
And it's got some fun little cute bugs in it, such as when you're playing with the full team rooster instead of roster. But
oh yeah, there's some delightful little.
Who am I to say I'm American? I know one language, English. I'm using it right now.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with your dyslexia.
That too. Phonetics.
It's hard. It's rough stuff. But Milker gave a really good interview. There's a lot of information here, and let's hit some of the highlights. They said that the reason that ranked play wasn't considered important for the early stages of the tech alpha was because of the low amount of players, which is something we've been talking about on the show really since we launched, is that, hey, MMR seems funky, but it's probably because there's not very many players at the moment.
Right. It seems, actually, it's been going real fast this week, but also none of the heroes I play are in the free-to-play rotation.
Oh, yeah, that makes a big difference.
So I've been getting in there in about 30 seconds or so, but after 3 minutes, it abandons a lot of the rules that it uses to find you an equal match.
Right, which is not dissimilar from, we were talking about the rules for team composition last week.
Right.
It's very similar. It's like, hey, here are the rules, but if you're in queue for X amount of minutes overtime, we start abandoning those rules so we can just get you in a damn game. Which
right. And there's definitely those mysterious nights right now where it seems like they've flipped the Blackheart's Bay switch and you get it 4 times in a row, or whatever information they may be compiling.
That's the thing I want an answer on. Is like, do they weigh Battlegrounds in one way or another for some bizarre reason? Because I swear to God, yeah, I get those streaks. And I'm sure part of it is my bias that I really strongly dislike Blackheart's Bay. So I notice it when I'm getting it a lot. And when I get any of the other 4 maps, I'm just like, all right, yeah, hell yeah, let's do this. I like these. But just Blackheart's Bay, man. I know
they talked about that for a while with the instances and the, looking for group random thing, that it kind of helps you out and points you towards a different one, but really doesn't bust his ass too hard.
What are you talking about?
In World of Warcraft, when you're doing 5 instances in a row, it then tries to divide you up so you're not doing the same one over and over.
Gotcha. I was like, what are you talking about instances? There's no instances in this game, but you just expected me to follow your train of thought into WoW.
Well, yeah, that's what you do. It's Heroes of the Storm. All games are free game. In fact, it's been real weird this week, kind of sitting back and watching all the console guys go, yeah, Diablo, I'm kicking the Reaper's ass. And I'm like, oh, what? Are we playing this now again?
I've been seeing the same thing too.
That and ice buckets. I've just been confused out of my mind.
I got challenged yesterday. I need to do that. I'm so sick of seeing the damn videos, but I'm like, well, I'm not gonna sit here and not do it. So
sure. Well, that's the idea: is you get challenged and then you take care of the challenge.
Yeah.
So if you've gotten that thrown at you, it's your fault, man.
How is it my fault?
Way to be famous. Way to be famous.
It's
ass.
Dill's fault for freaking challenging me, the asshole. Anyway, he leaves the show and then he challenges me to a damn ice bucket challenge. Thanks, Dills. Thanks.
You have to wear clothes. I mean, granted, a swimsuit would be nice, but
I'm not going to let people see my shirtless white body, if that's your question. No one wants to see that. I don't want to see that.
You're sparing the folks.
Yeah.
You're a real hero jumping on that.
Back to draft mode here. They also said that we will not see the ranked ladder implemented in the next couple of content patches. I believe they said, quote, most likely we will not see, but it was like this weird double negative, so I tried to clean it up a little bit. Basically, we're probably not going to see the damn thing anytime soon.
Right.
The German article also said, in quote, the current plan is to implement a so-called draft mode as it is, for example, known from League of Legends. So that means that the preparation for a ladder match in Heroes of the Storm will work like follows. You can only play with a fixed team. You cannot select the random hero option. So they're going to be disabling that option for ranked play. Both teams will see the full roster of the opponent's teams. They said, much like in LoL, that both teams can ban 3 heroes from being picked by the opponent in the oncoming match. It was hard reading this because it was poorly translated. I'm not sure how much they were describing how it works in LoL, or if they were saying this is how it is going to work in Heroes of the Storm.
Right, and I think a bit of this is how it currently works in League of Legends. It's interesting that they're going to be removing the random hero button, because in other sorts of games like Dota, if you random while in a ranked match, you get bonus starting gold because you're randoming among, 117 whatever heroes. Here, what do you give them? A free costume for the match?
Oh, yeah, you get like an XP boost, or you could incentivize it some way. They're already giving an XP boost for being in a group. Why not give an XP boost for randoming?
You mean like to your actual level and your hero level?
Yeah,
not in game.
Yeah. No. Oh, sorry. I should have made that clear. Yes, to your hero level and to your account level, not an in-game XP boost.
Okay, just checking.
That would be ridiculous. All right, everyone go random. We're gonna out-level the shit out of the opposing team. No, it's not. Yes, thank you for some reason, much like your instance WoW analogy, I just expected you to follow me into that train of thought. But yeah, so they basically break down how it works in LoL, which is very similar to how it works in Dota. You do your bans, then you pick your heroes.
Right. It looks like League of Legends actually does some bans in the beginning, and then they pick afterwards, whereas Dota has it on, off.
Yeah,
you pick, I pick, you ban, I ban.
Yeah, and then sometimes there's like 2 picks in a row and then another ban or something, or It takes turns. It's strange. I don't know it off the top of my head.
The real information that we got here is currently this is only going to work for full teams that sign up to play. So you need to have 5 dudes in order to play their draft version as it's going to come out first.
Okay, so you're not going to be able to do solo queue into draft?
Exactly.
So will there be a solo queue rank?
Of course. It'll just be you pre-pick your hero. It's like it already works.
I'm not happy with that.
I know. I know.
Not happy with that at all.
Banning's real dirty. Like, you can do solo queue banning, but one person randomly becomes the team captain. I mean, maybe you could even add that, like, you know, raid leader kind of button where you're like, ooh, I could lead it. But ultimately you're saying, ooh, ban, you know, 4 people are screaming at one guy, and sometimes you're accidentally that one guy, and you go, I don't know, Stitches, because I hate him, and everyone goes, he's not part of the meta. And
I guess so. I don't know. For me, it's just like, I don't care, ban what you want. I will find somebody I like to play.
Right. What we really want is just to take turns. We don't need any banning, nothing fancy. Just they pick something, we pick something, then back and forth and back and forth.
I want to make an informed decision, even in my pickup games.
Even in all pick, you either wait around to the last few seconds and pick what you were going to pick anyway, or you react to that guy who picked really on early.
Exactly.
But then I see, because you know, if you go overtime in those games, it starts deducting you gold because you're clearly getting advantage because you're going to see what everyone else is going to pick. So I'm seeing the holes here, actually, without the golden itemization.
Oh, really?
You know what you could do? You could make a XP deficit so that you don't get your level 1 ability until you rack up a certain amount of XP that you lost during that time when you were picking too late.
That sounds overly complicated and something that they wouldn't do.
Probably. But yeah, no, in Dota right now, when you go to pick, if you random, you get bonus gold to start the game off with. If you take time past the final timer, your starting gold slowly decreases. And often builds are made in such a way that you're spending all but 25. So you've maybe got 10 seconds.
10 extra. Okay. Gotcha. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't... They seem to be straying so far from any real sort of punishment in this game.
Yeah.
Like other than, you know, just dying in the game itself, but like punishing a player for out-of-game things.
Right.
Although we don't even have a draft mode, so that's, I mean, it's a good point. It's hard to even compare that because there's really no way you can slow down things anyway.
Well, and you need to pick your hero. I mean, one of the reasons why the system works as it is, granted, you know, we are sad that you're not getting those counter picks, or both teams can sometimes be exactly the same heroes and things get a little confusing other than your blues and reds. You got to get in there so that you can pick your talent, because all 4 talents are usually viable. And if you're playing this game correctly and on top of things, you want to get in there, hit tab immediately so you see the enemy heroes and go, okay, is there a Vala? Is there a Nova? Or is there someone who does a lot of auto attack damage? Good, then I'm going to take block. Otherwise, I have this other talent I prefer to do, much like Arthas and your reduced 2 seconds on the Howling Blast.
Yeah, which especially lately, if I've been playing with a Kerrigan, I take it blindly if it's a Kerrigan on my team.
Yeah.
Just because the Kerrigan, Arthas, Howling Blast, Spike combo is just, it's disgusting. Love it.
Right.
Rake, Howling Blast, and then I forget what the Spike is actually called. I just call it Spike.
But if you're going up against someone, Brightwing, you know, these sort of things in lane, what are you going to use block for? Or there's really...
Brightwing, man, come on. I mean, Brightwing, you know, spits really hard.
Bringing the pain. Even a Nova sometimes, depending on the player, they're not doing much in the way of auto-attacking. It's all the spells. They pop out a cloak, pew, pew, hit you for 600 a go, and then disappear into the bush.
Yeah. So, they also they talked a little more about the MMR for outside of ranked play, which is what we're currently dealing with now. So your matchmaking ranking is influenced by the win-loss ratio of all matches ever played, and the win-loss ratio of the currently selected hero. They said for complete teams, there is a cumulative MMR for the entire team. And for incomplete teams, the missing players are selected such that the cumulative MMR is approximately the same as the cumulative MMR of the opponent team. And then they go into saying, you know, hey, if the queues are longer, there are fallbacks implemented, meaning the above stated rules will be applied less strictly or even dropped completely to find an opponent faster.
Okay, that's pretty standard stuff. It's always sad when you have in StarCraft, you do a 3v3, and you've got the 2 diamond players and then 1 bronze to even out against the platinum and gold team.
Oh, you're talking about when it's not a pre-made 3 group, when you just solo queue in 3v3 and you're just like, oh, diamond. Oh, gold, bronze, what? Because clearly this has happened a lot when I'm playing with friends. It's, you know, friends who aren't stellar at StarCraft, but hell, I'm not really stellar at StarCraft.
Sure. Also, we have that, you know, representation on a hill, the one dude banging away on the keyboard faster than you ever could. His joints are probably dying inside. He's going to have arthritis the rest of his life, but whatever, he's impressive. And, you know, with games like MOBAs, you see the 5 guys up on stage, and you're like, well, they live together. You have all these excuses built in your head. You're like, well, they train together all the time. You know, I don't have to be that good.
Yeah. I think that's why I play Heroes and Dota more often than StarCraft. Is just the social aspect.
Yeah.
I'm more drawn to. I like playing against my friends, and preferably not against them.
Right, exactly.
Because I get salty, man. You beat me in Hearthstone last week, and I was ready to like rip your head off.
Yeah, well, that's because my deck is ridiculous.
Your deck is stupid as hell, and it should not have won, but it did.
Awesome.
And my hat's off to you, sir.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate all the angry compliments I could get. I'm curious to know if they're going to have seasons.
Yeah, I would be confident in just saying I think so. I would just say yes.
Because Dota's got no seasons. I mean, they do special holiday events, but they never reset your MMR in any way.
Yeah. But,
granted, in Hearthstone, it's a godsend because you get so pissed because you're grinding and then you go, oh, thank goodness. I actually get to get some of these quests done for a little bit. And now they're adding seasons to Diablo, which I just think is great.
Oh, yeah, that thing looks really cool where it's like a one-off character for that season. And if you hit certain goals, you get loot and you unlock it for all your characters. And yeah, that looks really fun. Yeah, Blizzard seems to really love them some seasons, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't implement seasons into this, especially with all of the extra, with skins and whatnot. Seasons in StarCraft seem dumb to me. There's no point. There's no incentive to hit anything by a certain point.
The real great thing about them is if you're really trying to get from one level to the next, they're a nice refresh for those placement matches, and you can sometimes really jump up. And often if you lose, it doesn't matter too much. But if you're going for that, next league, you can get in there before it fills out and kind of solidifies. Lots of Grandmasters get up there because they play before the other Grandmasters do. In something like Heroes, of course, after seeing Hearthstone, I mean, we're all excited for the card back equivalent.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even if it's something as simple, if they don't want to add new stuff, like you win 1 skin credit and you can just unlock whatever skin you want or something. I don't know. But with all of the stuff that they're adding into the game, I don't see any reason. I don't think there'll be a lack of options of things to reward players with for hitting a certain rank in a season.
Right. Honestly, I would just love to see something a lot like this is a simple idea, like they have in Diablo with the flags. Get to design your own little flag, and it's there in the base, flowing in the wind.
Yeah, why not? Just all that kind of stuff. Because that's all, for the semi-casual StarCraft players, that's always been the issue. There's been no incentive. There's been no rewards, really, in the game. There's portraits, and honestly, I'm not speaking, obviously not speaking for everyone, but I don't give a crap. I don't care about portraits. And we have, 2 variant models for units per race that took 2 years to even put in the game.
Right, yeah. It's a negative way to take it, certainly, but we do like the card backs, and they make you feel special, and you kind of find that one, and you stick with it, whatever, but you got over level 20, and that's easy to do, but still that bit of an investment where you feel special, and you can still say in the background, well, at least I made 15 and I get my thing. Right,
exactly. So, and it's really good in Hearthstone, and even there, there, you hit rank whatever and you get X amount of stars after the reset. That's very transparent. Like I hit this rank, I get this many stars, so I start at this rank next season. Whereas in StarCraft, since the MMR is hidden, it's always seemed kind of ethereal.
Right, but then I don't know. It seems weird in StarCraft, of course, because they do keep it completely hidden. Like it's gonna be, I don't know, your IQ test, and you're gonna run to your little sister and say, "I'm smarter than you," and like push her on the bed or something. But like beat up your friends because it's a one-on-one game. In Dota, they have it right there. Like you can see your number, and if you go to Dota Reddit, you see everyone saying, "Excuse me, but I am a 5,000 ranked player," and I think,
yeah, you're right, but screw those people anyway. I immediately tune out when I hear that kind of BS, so whatever. Anyways.
The same people who know every pressure point on the body and kick your ass.
My point is I have way more of a drive to rank up in Hearthstone than StarCraft, and once this Diablo season comes out, the season's thing is implemented, I'll probably be playing a lot more Diablo as a result.
And all of this, I hope we're not being negative. This is all just hope, We're hopeful that they can implement similar systems to encourage you to keep playing this game outside the fact that it's just plain fun.
Right. Because honestly, we log a lot of hours in Heroes, and there's zero incentive to continue playing this game at the moment.
We're getting nothing. I am keeping nothing. I'm almost to an Abathur Master Skin. Nothing.
Yep. I'm almost to Arthur's Master Skin. I hit level 40 weeks ago. Like, doesn't matter. I'm just enjoying the shit out of this game. But I just really like the incentives in Hearthstone, and I would love them to put something very similar in Heroes of the Storm. Anyways, onwards with more Gamescom stuff. Milker gave another interview at Gamescom, and this one is translated much better. So some of the highlights from that, they asked, how did the technical alpha happen? And he said, we wanted to change the way we think and work with heroes. The game is constantly evolving, so we wanted people in as quickly as possible so we could get real-time reactions from them based on the changes we were making, which is great. Case in point, artifacts here and gone really quickly.
I think the point that really speaks to me is that they invited the casual people. With StarCraft, we heard a lot of, well, we have our special beta test, and we're inviting pro players. You just think to yourself, that's not the kind of people you need the opinions of. Particularly when designing a game, maybe updating it, maybe doing...
To some point, definitely you need, but there's something to be said for the general masses as well.
Right, well, and they're more about fun and what they enjoy. And if something feels OP, they can complain their asses off, sure, because you see the Blizzard forums. Yeah. Any change is bad, and we know this just because you don't want to get up in the morning. Human beings, it's an exhausting existence. But only talking to pro players when a game is already out and established, or even coming from Brood War to StarCraft 2, it just seemed to me like, well, they're just going to want what wins, or whatever system works best for them personally to win big bucks.
Yeah. But, sorry, I had a thought and I lost it.
It's okay. I'm not, next question.
I guess really my point is I'm not against them, obviously asking pro players. Obviously, with StarCraft, it was kind of established because there was a StarCraft 1. There's not a Heroes of the Storm 1.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's a set group of people they can go talk to. So, yeah, I agree with you. They also asked, how do you choose which hero to add to the game? They said early on, heroes added to the game were added based on the artists. Woo! Go artists! They wanted to make sure each Blizzard franchise was represented, and now they want to round out the variety of the roster. If you want to play an assassin, we want to make sure you've got a couple to choose from. I like that mentality.
Based on the artists? So, like, what do you want to make? They're having a meeting and they just said, what do you want to make? And the artist said, I want to do I Love Zeratul, and they ran with it?
It's what it kind of sounds like.
Okay.
And that's what we've heard, too, when they've been talking about, last year at BlizzCon when we went to the Heroes panel, and they were talking about all the different skins they had. That it really, a lot of them were the product of the artists coming to them with just something they had done on the side, like Roller Derby Nova. It came to me, what do you think of this? And they show them a concept and just like, great, build it.
Well, that's how we want games made. I remember soon after Skyrim came out, they put out an optional patch, which was 10 developers all took a week off and designed whatever they wanted. And it was like encounters with giant king crab that came up out of the ocean, and that's when someone first made the vampire model, which later got used in that expansion pack. So, or DLC, I guess it's called. Modern terminology, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is fresh. Like, you want people to be enjoying making the game. I guess the one thing I'm sad about, though, inside, is just that I see someone like Zagara drop a roach from the sky, and I go, oh, no roach hero. And really, for me, it's Kerrigan. I go, no one's even picking the Ultralist ability, and I wanted Tarask.
I was in a game just before the show tonight where some person got like the level 20 altered Ultralist that makes it massive, which I had yet to see in game. It just came out. I'm like, holy shit, that's a big Ultralist.
Yeah, well, I remember we were playing the game against a Kerrigan. You were Hammer, and you used your boost to get away, but damn it, that Ultralist really had...
They move faster than Ultralists do in StarCraft, and for those of you that don't play StarCraft, that's really freaking fast. It's ridiculous.
It was on you, man. It wanted you dead,
Yeah.
and it would have gotten you, too.
I went all the way... I was in their second town. I ran all the way back to our first town and had the turrets kill it. It was ridiculous. They wanted me dead. And they hurt. Ultralist really hurts. I've been seeing... I don't know what happened. I've been seeing a lot of Ultralists lately. I still never pick it when I play Kerrigan, but it's out there.
Yeah, well, the other one's just so powerful. I'm waiting for whatever the StarCraft warrior is going to be, because there isn't one yet.
Oh, that's a good point. Who do you think it would be?
Probably the general with the machine gun hand.
Oh, right. Oh, geez. Why can't I think of his name? I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, it's blanking on me, too.
Yeah, it's another Marine, though. We already have 2 Marines.
Yeah, I guess
I could see the engineer. What's his name? The guy with the claw hand.
Oh, the dwarf.
He's pretty much a dwarf from Warcraft, but in StarCraft with a mechanical hand.
I'd love to see Egon Stedman in there, but he's clearly going to be some sort of support.
If he's in there, he'd be specialist, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, who's the the faceless void bad guy that we really haven't met? Zelnaga.
The Dark Voice.
Maybe. Yeah, the Dark Voice.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, some type of Zelda, or the hybrid is what they call them.
Yeah.
Most of the time is how they're referenced. Anyway, moving. Yeah, I want to see a StarCraft warrior too now that you mention it. They asked why are mounts implemented when the maps are so small?
That is a great question.
To which I ask, clearly you haven't played Blackheart's Bay. Although, as big as that map is, it's really just the turn-in. That's all the map needs, is just that turn-in area.
Yeah.
That's where everything happens. They said that our battlegrounds have objectives on them, so at a moment's notice, you need to be able to get somewhere quickly. There were boots in Warcraft 3, which increased speed, and in other games too, but we felt mounts were a fun way of doing it and giving us another form of customization. I love the mounts.
Yeah, they're great. Outside, just getting rid of that fundamental bull item that you have to get every single game, 500 gold in Dota. And it has to be the second item you get. You first get all your starting items, a little bit of healing, maybe a couple stats. You're a huge noob if you get boots, apparently, early on in the game, and everyone's going to scream at you. But the second you hit 500 gold for the first time, if you don't get boots, you're a loser. And that's dumb.
Yep, it is.
Any decision that is required in a video game is dumb.
Yeah. And
But
you know
sadly,
what isn't dumb? Riding in on a freaking cybernetic wolf. That's not dumb. That's badass.
We're all waiting for the vulture, though.
Yes, please give me a vulture. I need a StarCraft-worthy mount.
There's no way they're not doing it.
It better be. It better be coming, man.
Other than the fact that it'd be huge for Diablo.
Whatever. It doesn't have to be. It can look ridiculous, just like he does on a horse. The horse should be riding him.
Oh, and Stitch is showing off his pepperoni nipples.
Oh, God, don't mention it.
Gross.
This is a question that I found interesting because Smite's apparently coming to console. They asked if the game if Heroes of the Storm would be coming to console. And Milker said, we're focused on PC development. I like consoles and what we've done with Diablo 3 in that regard. I play Heroes at home on my 360 controller and big screen, but there's no plans at the moment for consoles. I can't imagine playing this game with a controller.
You would say that about Diablo, though, first, wouldn't you? Certainly not split screen. Or, one person per console.
Yeah. You know, you're right. And I've yet to play it, but I've heard nothing but stellar things from everyone who's played the console version.
I got to play it at BlizzCon. It was very elegant. There's a lot of tools to help you out. Things are very auto-targety. And when you hover your mouse over something in Diablo, you know you're targeting it, and then you fire your abilities. In this game, it's more like you kind of push the control stick around, and it highlights switches between everything you could hit.
Oh, okay.
So it would definitely be its own thing.
Yeah, that's an elegant way to handle it, actually. But
you would have the locked-on camera above you all the time. You'd have to be using your second joystick to be your power shot abilities. It'd be different, and there's no way the two could compete.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be ridiculous.
It'll be fascinating to see if a game like this exists or is on higher request after the World of Warcraft movie comes out. Because then, again, we have like this mainstream attention, almost getting into the Super Smash Bros. Sort of Disneyland theater.
Well, yeah, that's and as excited for the movie as I am, that's it. What if it's bad? No one's gonna care.
Yeah, and that's exactly like we all just omit Last Airbender from our minds because it sucked, and no one really blames the original creators at that point. And if World of Warcraft the movie sucks, no one's really gonna care.
Yeah. The fans, like the diehard fans, are going to care, and then everyone else is going to continue writing off something they wrote off before anyway, so no harm done.
Exactly.
Good point. I'm really excited for that movie, though, just for the record.
Well, yeah.
Someone out there keeping a record of things I'm very excited about. Put that down.
Put it back on the list. Never cross it out. What, is that 2015?
It was originally supposed to be, and it was pushed into 2016 because it was originally coming out the same weekend as Star Wars.
Well, that's dumb. Yeah, good job.
It wasn't originally. Star Wars hadn't been given a date yet. Warcraft had its date, and then Star Wars came out and said, "Hey, we're coming out on the same day," and they're like, "F that."
Nope,
not doing happening. It. It's really smart move. It's first or second quarter in 2016, I believe.
Okay, so we won't have to wait too long.
Nah. And I'm so stoked for Star Wars. Like, it'll help me wait for the Warcraft movie.
Yeah, that's going to be, man. Disney's going to be, just Disney World in general is going to be a whole different place in 10 years.
Yep.
First of all, I don't know why you're not doing it, Disney. Free idea here. I know everyone's having it too. Tomorrowland. Get rid of it. Stark Industries. Done. Kids will lose their shit.
Because Universal Studios currently has the license for Marvel theme park.
All right, but Sony has Spider-Man. No one cares.
They need to get it back, is what needs to happen. Just a quick mention, the daily XP cap increase for co-op games. They said that they finished deploying this update. The daily XP maximums for practice and cooperative game modes should now be capped at 2.25 million experience rather than 1.2. It's a minor change. They said thanks for your patience and apologies for the issues. So that's good. But more interesting this week, you can customize your hotkeys at your own risk. Tell me about this, Kyle. How does this thing work? It's some kind of aftermarket plugin?
Exactly. A Redditor has made himself a program that you can download and insert in your game files so that you can customize your own hotkeys. And it also adds in some of the features from StarCraft, like being able to save camera locations. And this could be particularly useful if you get a little lost on the map. In StarCraft, you can control to your F keys and like lock this camera to your base or to your enemy's base, so you can quickly switch between the two to, take care of mules or do your hatcheries or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people do it for like base defense. So like when you push out, if you start getting attacked, you can cycle through your expansions with the F keys.
Exactly. And right now, there's no way to customize your keys. So,
nope. And it is maddening.
Yes. Particularly if you switch in between multiple MOBAs throughout the week.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because in this game, all your alternative abilities are 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. In Dota, I have them set to F keys, so I've reworked Dota because I can't change this yet. And, well, I guess Dota's suffering for my lack of heroes.
I hear that, man. And then finally, a new wave of invites have gone out for Australia and New Zealand. So check your BattleNet launcher, folks.
It was a bit obvious come Tuesday.
What are you talking about? We didn't have a lot of incredibly new players that didn't realize that Lily was a healer until 10 minutes into the game that they were playing.
No, nothing of the sort.
That didn't happen at all.
I think the worst one for me this week was clearly someone's friend playing with their experienced friend, and we had it wouldn't have been so bad. They were an Arthas and a Nova, and they requested the lane together. The problem was we had a Rhaegar and a Lily, and I'm on Witch Doctor. And we're like, take a healer. And they're like, no, we're friends. It's like, I don't care if you're friends. One of you go mid and someone take a healer.
That's rough.
And the game suffered.
Yeah, that's hard, because I can understand that, being someone who back when you were teaching me Dota, that's exactly what we would do. We would get in and composition be damned, I was laning with you. But yeah, that's a rough comp.
But against computers, like, you can tell them and go away. There is more than enough times. I don't want to be labeled as that, Garrett. Take that label off me, because there's more than enough times where someone would start heading in the lane with you, and I just go, I'm sorry, I got to go mid. There's no one taking this right now.
Oh, I wasn't shaming you or putting a black mark on your Dota history, Mr. Dota man.
Get out. Lane with Garrett or I feed.
God, oh man, make me want to go play some Dota. Actually, I haven't played it in a long time.
It's a good game.
It is. It's a really freaking good game. But
don't worry, at some point we'll have a nice League of Legends love day. I'm just afraid that if you forced us to play League of Legends, it'd probably turn into League of Legends hate day. So don't request it too hard.
I'm not sure I'm ever gonna have a League of Legends love day.
I will be trying it when they update the graphics.
Good for you. Let me know how it is.
All right, will do.
All right, let's talk some strategy.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
I have a PhD in PvP.
Tell me about it, Mr. Witch Doctor. This week we wanted to talk about... Oh, I didn't change it in the graphics. It says Tychus. We're supposed to talk about Tyrael.
Right. If we just want to throw out a quick, the Tychus lesson for this week is use your strafe ability to chase, not to engage.
Yep.
All right, we're done.
Done. All right.
That's basically it.
Let's talk about Tyrael. This is on me. I make the graphics for the show. I'm sorry. Last week I said I was going to finally break down and give Tyrael an honest try, and I did, Kyle.
Good. I'm glad.
I don't think I like him.
It's so funny. I'm not a fan either. I got in there and I tried him out, and there are just people wrecking people's faces with this guy. But
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm trying to do macrame with winter gloves on.
That's how?
Right. Exactly. I just feel clunky.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. His Q ability, Eldrain's Might, is amazing. It's a very fun ability. This is where he throws he from range throws his sword in a designated area with your cursor, and it stays there, and like pulsates and whatever. It does 60 damage plus 9 per level to enemies in the target area and slows them by 25%. If you hit Q again, he teleports to wherever his sword is. That ability is so much damn fun. I love it.
It's great damage, and it's awesome in levels where there is a nice wall you can just jump over. Yeah.
I played a lot of Garden of Terror this week, and Tyrael, I survived so many things I should not have because of the escape mechanism of Eldrain's Might. That being said, I did not find any of his other talents really fun or satisfying.
So Righteousness, you just give yourself a shield and those in your immediate area. A small shield, we're not talking like healer level or support level, but a little something on top of your health. And then Smite, you make a big sort of sweeping rake attack and deal damage in front of you. And then people who walk over the rune you have left on the ground gained increased movement speed up to 25%. And then this is something you can really augment to give shields and give increased speed and healing.
Right. And Magnus in the chat room is saying he highly recommends maxing out Smite, which is the ability a lot of people coming in ignore the most. because it seems to do the least. But he makes a good point. I played around with it some, and I was surprised with how much it seemed to help my Tyrael build, because it's such a large... it's zone control.
Right, and you can augment it to push people and other sorts of things like that. But really, I mean, at one point, you can increase the damage of your next basic attack. And at level 1, one of your choices is Purge Evil. Increase the damage done by it by 50%. To heroes, though, only. So it's not really a pushing ability, but this is where you have those Tyraels just gung-hoing it in your face.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very... He's a very aggressive warrior. The only warrior I think that can be more aggressive, in my opinion, is Barbarian, because her damage output just seems to be ridiculous.
Right, well, that's all about just smite ability, and you get engaged and you just hit smite, smite, smite as many times as you can.
Right. Right, exactly. You're thinking about the level 13 talents, by the way. There's 2 for smite. You can either get Cast Aside, which pushes enemies outside of the area, and then Angelic Might, which gains 25% increased damage on your next basic attack for each target hit by smite.
Which, that's quite a bit.
That can be a lot if it's hitting multiple targets. God, yeah. Smite's the sleeping dog here. It's a lot can be done with that. As for his heroic abilities, he has Judgment, which charges the target, dealing 125 plus 10 per level damage and stunning them for 2 seconds, while charging nearby enemies are knocked back and take 50 damage plus 5 per level. This is the one you see almost every single Tyrael take all the time.
Right, and this is basically a melee version of what the Beastmaster has in Dota, and it has a extremely large range. It is surprising how far away a Tyrael can be, and then suddenly in your face, he slams into you. He then does his talent build, which is going to increase his next basic attacks on you, smites you, increasing basic attack, slams you, activates something like searing attacks, and boom, you're a dead man. But he's only doing this, every couple of seconds. So it's not quite assassin level. And then his other ability, which all heroes have this sort of background passive ability, and his particular one is when he dies, he then becomes invulnerable and can move around to explode on top of people. And the damage is rather significant.
It's a large amount of damage. It's a decent-sized area, and you have 3.5 seconds after death to move where you want to explode.
And you have to be on top of it, because so often I feel like there could be more kills done, yet they're too busy trying to run away.
Exactly. They don't realize that they've died because you're still moving. And
exactly. And lots of heroes can get out of it. I mean, you have Tychus, he just jumps forward. You have Vala doing the same thing. There's plenty of ways to avoid it. And for the most part, people tend to just scatter the second this happens.
Oh, yeah.
So
as soon as I see a Tyrael about to die, I turn around. I'm just like, nope, I've died to this too many times. I'm not doing it.
And you got to commit. Just pick one. It doesn't matter who it is. If you accidentally pick the hero with all his health, it's too late. Go for it. Get him, and don't just die in the middle of people.
Yeah. And then his other heroic ability is Sanctification. While channeling, it makes all of the nearby allied heroes, excluding you, invulnerable in last 3 seconds. I dislike this ability so much. I feel like there might be a place for it in pre-mades, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
The fact that you're vulnerable, standing there channeling this thing for 3 seconds, and it doesn't make you also, invulnerable. I mean, I get it. If it also made Tyrael invulnerable while he was channeling this thing, it would just be kind of ridiculous.
Right. If he was flying around, he was still being active, activating shields on himself, picking up health globes, it would definitely be a different story. Right now, though, because he strikes a pose, slams his sword into the ground, it is very clear that Tyrael should die. It's the same thing as, Big Bad Voodoo from Warcraft 3. He's standing around, like, dancing. So who you gonna kill? The dancing man, naturally.
Except he's not dancing, he's being quite stoic.
And Ice Block is an ability that quite a few supports and specialists have. And this allows you to become yourself invulnerable for 3 seconds. And you get all icy and you have the look, but you can still be targeted by things. So people can sit there wailing on you, maybe wasting some important spells. It can be kind of a surprise if they're about to die, and you can really catch them off guard. But this one in particular, It's 3 seconds. You're down. You're standing there. Everyone kind of gets the gist too quickly. Maybe if they reduce the glow or the pose he strikes, things might be different.
Yeah. Now, that being said, after I've kind of hated on Sanctification quite a bit, what I wanted to try this past week and I wasn't able to accomplish because I couldn't get a pre-made of people I trusted together. But the level 20 talent for Sanctification, Holy Arena, I want to try combining that with Rhaegar's Bloodlust and just see how absurdly quickly we can just destroy the opposing team in a team fight. Because what it does is it increases the invulnerability by 1 second, but more importantly, all of your allies get a 25% damage boost. So I want that plus invulnerability plus Bloodlust, and I just want to watch the opposing team melt.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. I just it would require a pre-made in Skype, so that's why I didn't try it this week. But in pickup groups, I think Judgment is the just a blind pick.
Well, and if you're dealing with other heroes that take life-stealing attacks, being invincible for a few seconds is a huge heal for those particular heroes. Right now, I'm Google fooing trying to figure out what the cooldown on the various abilities is, because that could swing my opinion as well. Let me see.
I'm not sure. Let me know what you find. I will continue saying words to fill out the dead air.
All right, good. You did it. You made it. Judgment is 80-second cooldown. Sanctification is a 50-second cooldown. So at level 20, it goes down to 25 seconds. Okay. Interesting.
All right.
Still not the one I pick. The Hunter Tyrael is just too powerful. But
Hunter Tyrael?
Yeah, being able to pick off someone as they run away, stacking that damage. Support Tyrael just isn't really happening right now.
Gotcha.
So Tassadar is a hero that at first you go, Archon? Sweet. Force Wall, okay. I guess I'm contributing. Like if I get lucky, I'll cut off some guys and I'll play with the map and kind of do some force field powers. But then you realize 100-second cooldown on Archon, 12-second cooldown on Force Wall. And you go, I'm changing the map every 12 seconds. That's a huge deal.
Yeah. Force Wall's great, man. I've seen some phenomenal plays.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're doing. You have to be good with it, but a good Tassadar with Force Wall can really change a fight.
It goes the same thing for Zeratul as well, with his, Shadow Stalk ability where he's on your butt destroying you, or he throws down a shield barrier that could ruin the fight for everybody.
Yeah, because everyone can get stuck in that stasis, right? Including friendlies?
Yeah, and in fact, there's been a number of times where I've been getting wailed on, and I purposely ran into the Void Prison so that I would become invulnerable.
That's a good point. That being said, it's really good space control. I've seen some Zeratuls do some great stuff where, especially, for example, Cursed Hollow, the tribute pops. Everyone dives for it. If your team gets there before the other team, or at least before one or two of the other team's teammates, you throw down that what is that that ability called? I call it stasis because that's what it seems like it's doing.
Void Prison.
Void Prison. You throw down a Void Prison where the stragglers are coming in from, away from the fight.
Yeah, and it lasts 5 seconds, which is plenty of time to kind of get your bearings and maybe even get the tribute.
Yeah.
Both have the same cooldown though, interestingly enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, it's easy to screw up Void Prison, but
yeah. Well, and it's like Faceless Void in Dota as well. You want to be cool. It's a cool looking hero, but just the chances to screw up might not even be worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Any other closing thoughts on Tyrael?
I'm a little sad you didn't dig him, because I don't dig him. So I was hoping one of us could kind of cover him for us, but maybe in a future iteration, or he probably just takes a lot more work, honestly.
I've been surprised, honestly, by how many heroes I thoroughly enjoy playing in this game.
Yeah.
And Tyrael's one of the first where I've gotten in, I'm just like, I don't think this is for me. Murky's another one. I friggin' hate playing Murky.
He's just not your style.
No, It's just dumb. I hate
That's
marking.
Falstad for me. Like, I can respect every Falstad who just completely owns my butt. But that health pool, man, 710 health to start out with. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So it's funny you mentioned Falstad because that's the other guy. Falstad was the first guy. As a matter of fact, I got him because they had the Warcraft bundle. So I bought it because I wanted Arthas, and Arthas is Prince Skin, and who else came in that? Uther. I like playing Uther. And Falstad was in it. I don't like Falstad. It's not my jam. I thought I'd really like flying around. I can't stand playing him.
But when I'm in a team and someone on Skype is like, I'm going to play Falstad, I'm like, are you good? Like, all right. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was in a game with a bad Falstad earlier. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Just getting up in everyone's faces and just dying instantly. Ugh, scary stuff. All right, well, let's round it out with some emails.
Darkness stopped calling.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
You can tell these are new because I'm still laughing at them. Emails, you can send them to itncast@gmail.com. Our first email today comes to us from listener Ed. And Ed writes, Hello, ITN crew. I am not in the alpha, so my opinion only comes from an outsider's perspective for what it's worth. I think the choice to force people to level heroes at least a little before having all of the skills is a good thing for 2 reasons. 1, intro experience for new people is a little less daunting. And 2, when a hero comes around in the free rotation, there is a built-in incentive for completionists like me to try characters I've not played before, just to make sure I've unlocked all their skills. Also, when you guys had the system thrown at you, you already had a bunch of characters. It was a major inconvenience because stuff you were used to having was taken away and hidden behind a grind. New people will only be faced with having to unlock skills for 1 or 2 characters that they own initially, and again each time they decide to buy a new one. Not such a big deal. So, what do you think? Am I onto something or have I missed the point? Love the show. Keeps me up to speed until I eventually get to play it myself. Cheers, Ed. Well, newer players will have to worry about it with more than 1 to 2 characters because the free to play rotation will have 5 characters unlocked. 6 if you're what level was that again where it unlocks 3 or 4? You get a 6 slot. Is it 7? Is it level 7?
It's an account level thing.
Yeah, and the account level thing's been changed around recently and it takes a lot longer to get through it than it used to. But I'm much less angry at it than I was before. People seem really divided. If you go and like some of the YouTube comments on our show, like some people are like, yeah, no, I get it. You know, it's not so bad. And then other people are like, it's artificial gating regardless, and all artificial gating is bad. And to be a really boring person, I think both sides have merit in their argument.
What a boring conversation.
I know. Honestly, I don't know.
No,
I think I liked it better when it was account wide. I don't think they need to break it down per hero.
I agree with what he's saying 100%. I think he has every right to blame every player in the alpha right now from the outside to say, you guys are spoiled little butts.
Which is true. I am a spoiled asshole.
Right, exactly. And if you had just gotten this game, you wouldn't care in the least because it was your first time unlocking the things, and it's awesome. My real problem is that they do it based on the order of the talents, and I'm not sure these talents are exactly the ones you want to put a highlight on for players just coming in. So should you gate something like Call Down Mule? This is an ability. It is completely map-wide, and you need to target the area of the buildings you want to heal. Yes, 100%. If this is your first time playing, no way you should be using that ability. But you look at someone like Gazzo, or quite a few of them actually, have the Demolitions ability, where you do more damage against structures.
And you consume ammo with basic attack hits.
Right, and it seems real cool, but it's not contributing to the group. And it's not really a base level strategy in-game. It's something I think Blizzard wants to encourage, which is why it's still there. But it's complex. Same with something like your first choice, if you take quite a few heroes, is Regeneration Master. Every 3 regeneration globes you get earns you an extra 4 health per second permanently. But then you see the tooltip on the side as you're getting regeneration globes, and you get 3, and then you get 1 point. And then you stack, I only have 2 stacks, but I have 3 points. And an ability like that seems overcomplex.
I agree with you. But I really, I don't know. I preferred it so much more when it was just whatever level it was before. I don't remember, but you got your account level to a certain level and you had all of the talents for everybody. Because last week when I decided to go back on my hammer binge, I was locked out of talents I already knew how to frickin' use.
Right,
I knew the build I wanted to do,
problem.
and I couldn't do that build.
I agree with the writer, and that is your problem, and you're spoiled. But when it comes to you pick your level 10 ability, and you only have access to one, okay, that's fine. You're restricting me from the harder to use ability. I get it. Then you get down to 20, and you can't select the augment for the one ability you picked. Instead, you have to choose between two completely different abilities now. That's a problem.
I don't think you can wave it away saying you're spoiled. I don't think that's an effective argument. Because nowadays everyone's there is an outside of game experience, and you can't deny that it exists. People are going to go watch streams. People are going to read about the heroes. They're going to look up builds, and they're going to read about the different ways that you can play a hero. That's what I did with Hammer. I didn't learn how to play Hammer before the gate and then go in and know the build I wanted to play. I knew the build from talking to friends who played Hammer and reading shit online. I should be able to just try that friggin' build.
Yeah. That's a good point. You could add some really cool abilities into a game like World of Warcraft that, have these hidden sort of combos, but ultimately someone's going to figure them out real fast, and then they're OP. There is no sense of discovery anymore since ThoughtBot.
Yeah.
Interesting. I see your point.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's an argument for both sides. There's an easy, better or a less daunting intro experience, but also artificially gimping the experience in the process. And then there's possibly giving them too much to giving a new player too much to digest as they enter the game, but they have the freedom to play the game as they see fit. There's pros and cons of both, but I personally would rather just have all the damn talents.
Yeah, and, in this game, we're really dealing with a situation where they don't want any talent build to be correct. You need to assess the full situation and the enemy to side, and the map even. There are talent abilities that you just cannot pick on certain maps. Nazebo, the Witch Doctor, has abilities that are amazing when you are pushing a lane and killing creeps. In Blackheart's Bay, you spend so little time in lane that all those abilities are useless. So you can't really say well, they're in your very first time, we're just going to give you the first ability and we'll make it the best one or the easiest one. That argument for me falls apart completely when you hit level 20, because you picked whatever ability they force you to. Okay, you got one ultimate. I'm okay with that. And then you get there and you have to pick between Bolt of the Storm and Resurgence. I just want to augment my cool level 10 ability.
Yeah.
There's a more elegant system here that they could do.
Right. So I don't know. It's strange. Now where my experience in the alpha has affected me, and I'm going to have a bias, is saying that, well, I don't think the way it currently is terrible, but that's just because the way that they had it before was terrible, and I experienced it. But obviously you can unlock talent a lot faster now, but I don't know. Like I said, my experience with Hammer was very frustrating as a result of this talent gating.
Yep, it can be fixed. Spaz, you're right. It sounds like a bitching party, because it is, because we're in the game, we're enjoying it. I'm sorry.
Thank you for your email, though. You make really good points, and like I said before, I think there's merits to both options. So, our next email comes to us from Playboy Dave, who apparently actually works at Playboy. I thought he just had a silly name.
Sweet.
So apologies to him for judging him based on his handle.
Did you ask him that? You shot him an email?
No, a lot of times, you know how we do. We go through emails, and some people just have silly names. You're just like, I'm not gonna call you that. But I actually looked at his email, and it was like an official Playboy email. I'm like, okay, you work for Playboy. Congrats.
All right.
Anyway, Dave writes in.
He works there for the articles.
Which is why I checked the website, obviously, to verify its authenticity. Playboy Dave writes, he says, "Hey guys, love the show, and though Dills will be missed, you two are more than make up for it. Episode 16 was a corker. Yes, I'm British. Don't hold it against me. Corker means good. Thank you for explaining that, because I would have had no idea what you meant."
I would assume you put a quirk in it, which means you should shut up, or it felt reserved. So
that's a really good point.
What a weird saying.
That's where my brain went too. Apparently, I haven't. Yeah. I hear when people tell me they're British, I'm just like, oh, I'm really excited for Doctor Who to come back, and then they're like, I don't watch it, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I just made an assumption. Oh. He said, anyway, quick question. Heroes is my first MOBA / hero brawler. Having previously been a little intimidated by LoL and Dota and the steep learning curve, I'm loving Heroes to bits. However, I hear Dota 2 has over 100 heroes, but of course Heroes has a handful in comparison so far. That's clearly a lot of crossover in terms of mechanics from one MOBA to the other. Do you see any specific skills / spells / mechanics from LoL / Dota, it's a lot of slashes, which haven't yet found their way into Heroes? Items aside, of course, can there really be enough unique abilities to make 100 characters feel different? Thanks. Cop-out answer? Yes. Dota does a really good job with it, and they took it all from Warcraft 3.
Right, but there is, Skeleton King has a spell that they've made it more unique over time. But originally it was just you throw a bolt and it stuns, and you selected the target you wanted to stun. You know what? That's on about 2 other heroes because direct stuns are great.
But you know what? 3 heroes having a targeted range stun out of 100, that's still pretty good diversity.
Yeah.
We're playing. Go play World of Warcraft. How many classes are there now? 10. How many of them have interrupts and stuns and CCs, and that all are basically the same but slightly different flavor-wise?
Yeah, for me, it's not so much the damage abilities as the healing abilities really get stretched sometimes, where it's like, oh, but you see, this one is different than Renew because first it does the healing over time, and then it does the big heal. Oh, I see. But if you get 3 stacks of this one, then it does a bigger heal. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This one's an instant, but smaller. And so there's ways to mess with it.
Yeah.
I think there's very elegant solutions as well, such as Lili. You could have a direct heal. You could just have, easier Uther, but instead it's to the nearest lowest health player, and prioritizing automatically makes that a new ability. So there's plenty of ways for them to inject a fresh take on a skill that we've all seen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, especially, the few heroes we have at the moment, I'm not concerned at all for the foreseeable future. Especially since, heroes like Illidan have been completely overhauled, and they specifically stated that it was because they saw the other heroes that were coming down the pipe. So
right.
they're clearly, Blizzard's clearly thinking about this. The heroes team is obviously making an effort to make sure there's some sense of diversity in abilities and heroes. So
I think too, Zagar is just such a great example of something that we could see easily in another hero, but it's all about flavor here. There is no reason really for the drop pod to come from the sky. It doesn't add anything. There are no flying heroes that can get hit on the way down. It's really just a delayed explosion that happens to summon a couple of guys. But it's that flavor that then changes it and makes it unique.
Yeah.
Banelings, same. Like, you can attack the Banelings as they're rolling towards you, and the towers do. But really, it's just kind of a laser attack with multiple shots.
Right. But the fact that it can be targeted and you can actually kite them and kill them before they hit you is really different.
Yeah.
And there could be a hero that comes down the line that has a very similar ability with projectiles that cannot be targeted, but will probably do less damage as a result. So, yeah. I'm not a game designer, but having played a couple of these games, I'm not too worried. They've done a really good job in Dota. Blizzard obviously has a deep well of inspiration to pull from their other games. I think it'll be a while before we see some redundancy.
Yeah, and granted, you can't stop it, and some abilities are a little one-to-one. What can you do? Stitches, Pudge, hook that pulls. What? I have no idea why the Butcher is in the pipeline, because I'm thinking, didn't he do hooks and pulls?
That's exactly what I keep saying, man. I'm very curious. I thought the Butcher would just be like a Stitch's skin.
Right, but it's apparently its own thing, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he has like his is like a frontal cone with multiple hooks, right, in the game.
Right, and it could just be like really short range, and that's what makes it different.
Yeah, or it could possibly just not pull. It might just be do damage to everything in that cone. Might
And
not even do a
then
pull.
I mean, look at someone like, I know I'm layering on examples, but that's because I've seen these arguments so many places. I'm happy to take this one and fight it. Because someone like Tychus, too, you're dealing with I mean, grenade, a delayed explosion that pushes, it's been seen in other games. But because they gave him the minigun that has this sort of wind-up mechanic, suddenly everything that hero does is different. Even his overkill ability, where he kind of follows you around shooting his minigun, doing his little dance, that becomes unique because otherwise you would have had to stand there and wind up those attacks to get your auto attack going. And suddenly you have that advantage.
Yeah. Like Hammer has a pushback, but it's in melee range, and it's a frontal cone, whereas Tychus is this grenade, which is ranged.
I think another important note to make, and this is really my last one, is that a lot of heroes have automated passive abilities that they start the game with. So their flavor is immediately different. There is no... Because in Dota, I mean, what are you going to pick? Skeleton King, for example, again. Your choice of first level is a chance to crit strike, a vampiric attack, which isn't worth taking until you're doing enough damage to actually gain health worth gaining, or a single target stun. And, if you're in lane against Spirit of Vengeance, like, you're going to take single target stun again. And so those two heroes will just be hit because that's what you do. These hit characters are coming out from the beginning with their full kits, which immediately is going to communicate to the audience their flavor. It's going to be real interesting to watch for that reason. And you're not going to have a lot of ability overlap, at least from a spectator point of view.
That's a good point. We haven't been talking as much about the watchability of this game yet, but I'm excited for it.
It's getting there. I watched a full, hour-long cast by Kaldor. He's been putting together some really nice videos. Kaldor, of course, being one of the Code A casters from the GSL. And, he's talented at this sort of thing and really breaks it down. And also points out the ridiculousness of an ability that I've been having trouble with, which is Tyranda's Owl. Because there's
Sentinel.
nothing quite as frustrating as feeling like you're making, all right, I lived. And then just an owl, a ghost owl comes
Dead.
up, destroys you.
We were
And
talking in the beginning of the show about speccing a certain way based on the battleground, and at any battleground where you have to channel something, Blackheart's Bay, Cursed Hollow, I always go for the talent on Tyrande that makes her Sentinel hit an infinite amount of targets, just so I can from across the way interrupt your channeling. Because it's a global range on that thing, and when you first start as Tyrande, it'll once it hits its first target, it's done. But you can spec into it to where it just hits infinite amount of targets. It just keeps passing through.
Chillatek makes, just listening to that ability, he says, like Windrunner's Arrow. Correct.
Exactly.
They made it global, but correct.
Yep.
Now, the thing that just really irks me is I've played Warcraft 3. I know what Sentinel does. You put it over a tree so you have sight. It does not fly out of nowhere and kill you.
Well, it also gives you sight, so it does technically do what you're asking for.
Yeah, well, and she's like the hero of the Night Elves, so I guess it's a souped-up version.
Yeah, why not? Damn it, man, it's fun. It'd be really boring if I just went, I can see you now. Exactly, with a little owl thing. Instead, it's like this badass arrow shot. It's great. I love it. Keep it. Don't listen to Kyle, Heroes developers. Anyways, thanks for your emails, guys. That'll do it for this week. As always, want to thank those of you who are leaving us reviews in the iTunes store. This week, I wanted to thank Mitchy D62 and Blah Guy 97, who both left us reviews. If you listen to the podcast on the iTunes, please leave us a review. It helps the show out a lot. Helps us find new listeners and getting some new ears. And also, wanted to thank all of the early adopters of our Patreon over at patreon.com/ITN. We already have some backers, and we really, really appreciate it, guys. It means the world to us. I wanted to thank Daniel Greyfire K, who's an old-school StarCast fan. Thanks, Greyfire. Thanks to Kai, Dan T, Mark B, Lee V, and I think you know this last one, Kyle. Carlin? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, yeah, I know. It's so cute. No,
It's
my
adorable.
mom backed us. What can I do?
Kyle's mom backed us. It was so sweet.
Gee, I don't know what you boys are talking about, but damn it, dude, congratulations.
Thanks, Kyle's mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Can Kyle come out and play?
Oh, no, he's busy right now.
I need a hard carry.
Oh, that might get me grounded.
Why?
Oh, it sounds dirty.
It sounds dirty. Kyle, are you doing drugs?
Are you hard carrying for your friends?
Wonderful. Thanks again, guys. Patreon.com/ITN is where you can support the show if you feel the need. As always, Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. You can see more about this and all of the other shows that Kyle and I do. Amove Radio, Kyle and I are both on it. The Anger Chicken is my Hearthstone show. Email us at itncast@gmail.com. Catch us live every Thursday night, now at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're changing the time up, because why not? A little easier for you and I, Kyle. And you can go to twitch.tv/AMOTV to see that live show. Our mobile live stream is over at alphageekradio.com. You can follow us on Twitter at ITNcast. I can be found at Garrett Art, and Kyle can be found at Kyle Ferguson. And you can find Brian Griffith, the musician who made our awesome intro music, over at briangriffithmusic.com. Also, please check out my website, nomoonart.com. That's my graphic design portfolio. If you need a graphic designer, there's a form right there. You can contact me for freelance, and you can see my previous work. Check it out. Once again, that's nomoonart.com. Kyle, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me at kyleferguson.com. I do voiceovers, so if you enjoy the sound of my voice, and it'd be a good match for your project, and hey, you know what? I rehearsed, so I wouldn't do that ibip thing I just did. Huh? Check it out. kyleferguson.com.
Awesome. And please check out our sponsors, doghouse-systems.com and tweakedaudio.com. The code you use is ITN, and that'll get you double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig, as well as 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds from tweakedaudio.com. We thank them for their support. We thank you guys for listening. We'll see you all next week, and if you're watching live, stick around for the after show. We will see you next week for episode 18 of Into the Nexus. Good luck and have fun.
Take care.